Hi you guys, happy Thursday and welcome back to my channel. Lieutenant General Mchunu yesterday spoke about the unsafeness and how good police officers are not safe and how those good police officers are mostly threatened and silenced whenever they are engaged in investigations, whenever they engaged in finding out the truth. This made me to think about the three officers who lost their lives earlier this year and made me ask very important questions as to whether they were involved in assisting the political killings task team that is based in Gauteng. What would have made these people to be unalived the way they have? Because contrary to popular belief and conspiracies, I don't think these officers were driving fast and then they lost their lives, they lost control over the vehicle and lost their lives. These police officers were definitely engaged into something. Could it be perhaps that they were about to find one of the members who are part of the Big Five? In this video, I wanted us to explore these allegations and these findings that I have made with the research that I have conducted. Lieutenant General Mchunu said this regarding the safety of police officers, especially those based in Gauteng.
On the PKTT, I'm not worrying much. I worry a lot about the team in Gauteng. The counterintelligence investigation operations that is taking place in Gauteng, I worry about their safety. Why do I say that? Because they were put in a safe house to operate from. The member of this house, together with others, they publish the photos of that house in the media. So therefore, their working place is compromised. The members that are operating the driving vehicles, those vehicles have been exposed in public. And I believe in some degree, maybe even the names of the members might be known. And their safety for me is a concern. The safety of the members that are working in Gauteng, they can't go home. If they go home, they go with the entire delegation of police officers protecting them. So their life is disrupted, and their families, I don't think they are protected either. So it is that group in Gauteng. I spoke about two sergeants yesterday. There are other junior members that have joined in that are working with them now, because the team has grown bigger. Together with the 10 that came from KZN. So it's quite a lot of them that are part of that operation. It's those members that I worry more than I worry about the PKTT, because PKTT is in KZN. Yeah, well, at least they have me and the rest of men and women in KZN. They should be safe. I cannot guarantee the Gauteng team the same.
Who's in charge of the Gauteng and
He also spoke about Sergeant Mbele and Sergeant Sitole and how they've been threatened after they found the person that unalived Armand Swartz. And even those two officers that he did not give us the name yesterday and said that they're currently protected because they've been investigating people that are part of the Big Five, and they saw it fit that these people be protected. Obviously, because they are under protection, he did not reveal their names. On the 23rd of April 2025, we heard that 3 police officers lost their lives. It was Gemugetsi Bais, and she was 30-year-old. It was Cebekhulu Linda, who was 24-year-old, and a 20-year-old Boipelo Sinage. The information about their unalivings has always been very sketchy as to the reasons why they were unalived. However, none other than Mr. Shadrack Sibiya, the Deputy National Police Commissioner, this is how he replied when he was asked about the details on how these people might have lost their lives.
We do have evidence that shows that they traveled late from Bloemfontein and they were driving very fast. It was raining. One cannot say at this point in time up until the people who reconstructed the scene of accident and the expert actually clearly explain in a form of a report and say this is what we see or what we think might have happened from the expert point of view. But what we know is that, remember, at some point mention was made of a particular bakkie that was following them, NP200, and the driver clearly, after we traced him, he says, no, these people were driving very fast. They drove past me. I also drove past them at some point. As they drove into the garage, they detoured into a garage. I followed so that I can see who's there, and I realized that no, it is 2 ladies and a gentleman, so there was no harm. He drove and he left. So there is proof or evidence that they were driving fast and it was raining. And so far, there's nothing really sinister in losing control because it happens on a daily basis. Not that we are downplaying what happened, but there is no, we don't suspect anything, any foul play so far.
As we all know today that Shadrack Sibiya is not a man that he should be trusted. Actually, he's been in good relations with people that are part of the criminal syndicate. So he himself is a criminal, so he can do anything to cover up. He did not only do it to these officers, even with Lieutenant General Mchunu after the brief, what did he say? He said that Lieutenant General Mchunu is disrespecting the minister and that is angry about the dismissal of Dumisani Khumalo. He was also criticizing Fani Masemula when he told him that, stay at home. What did he do? He went to courts asking for court support. Being that person, we know he's just that man. And I think by now we can see that all of this is just a definite cover up because of the response from him. And you know what is so shocking is that even Senzo Mchunu said this about these three officers.
An unfortunate accident. And investigations are getting finalized. The final and the last details, especially on the vehicle that was finally found, and a comprehensive report would follow. Each one of these constables would have made the trip before this a few times to Limpopo and from Limpopo without an incident. But this time around, they couldn't go beyond a particular point for some reason.
Which means even Senzo Mchunu himself knew that these three police officers were being surveilled. These three officers were being investigated, because how did you know that these three officers have been going there? They've been doing this. It was a routine of theirs. So which means even Senzo Mchunu knew what those police officers were up to. The question remains also, what route were these police officers using when they were going to Limpopo from Bloemfontein? If you guys will travel through N1 and you are a driver, when you travel through N1 and you are going to Limpopo, number one, from Bloemfontein, you have to first pass Venterberg. From Venterberg, you have to go through Kunstad. From Kunstad, you go through Pius, Berneging, to Johannesburg, to Pretoria, and eventually Polokwane. Why then did they take a U-turn and found themselves in Centurion? And the last place where they were found was in a petrol station. Could it be that they left all those petrol stations and chose the Centurion? Just so happened that was the case, or they were meeting some people around there. The first conspiracy theorist was these people were part of criminal syndicates. But no, I don't think they were. These police officers were onto something that was about to expose these criminal syndicates. The reason why I say that is because these police officers were part of a team called Operation Vulumkoti. Before we can get to Operation Vulumkoti, I want us to understand the role of these three officers respectively and the units that they belong in. Number one, this police officer called Bias. She was part of the cybercrime division. While Linda, on the other hand, he was part of crime intelligence. The very crime intelligence that Lieutenant General Mchunu told us yesterday that it's corrupt to the T. And remember, by the time these people were arrested, Dumisani was facing the case of nepotism. On the other hand, the political killing thought team was already being disbanded. So these people were having their way and they were ensuring that they deal with every loose ends. And these people, including Linda, who was part of the crime intelligence unit, there were loose ends that they had to deal with very quickly. So what was the Operation Vulumkoti? The Operation Vulumkoti was investigating illegal mining. And as we all know that illegal miners are not just doing illegal mining just on themselves. These people are being supervised and are being hired by influential people that have money. According to the Benchmark Foundation investigations, the Benchmark Foundation has found that some illegal mining syndicates fund political campaigns. And while on the other hand, SA Forum, which is a civil society, also conducted their own research and they found that high level of politicians are implicated in protecting illegal mining operations. We saw what happened even earlier this year with Tiger, who was said to be the kingpin, and his full name is James Neo Twaeli. He was said to be a kingpin in the illegal mining that was happening in the Northwest. And what happened? He got arrested and he was able to run from custody. You ask yourself, if you remember the Thabo Bester situation and everything, anyone that is able to escape from prison, they don't just do it themselves. There's really influential people involved that are enabling that behavior to happen. You don't just leave prison. So this man, clearly, he was onto something. He knew something that even these people that have hired him, have made him the kingpin, were able to connect the things that need to be connected to ensure that he gets released from prison. So they are onto a big criminal case which involves the Zamazamas. And you'll find that the person that was owning whatever illegal mining that they were investigating is part of the Big Five. They were about to crack them, which goes back to what I said. And what Lieutenant General Mchunu said about good police officers and how unsafe they are, especially those ones that are not really based in KZN. KZN, the political Unaliving Stars team, is able to manage itself. But anybody outside of that, they don't get the same protection because this one it's very strong, stronger than the other ones, including the one in Gauteng. Could it be that these police officers were working with these police officers here in Gauteng? That is very probable. On the other hand, what if indeed Free State was also starting to have their own political Unaliving Thought team to investigate the things that have been happening? All these police officers have a good reputation in Bloemfontein, that they were even taken from Free State Bloemfontein. Now they were being deployed to Limpopo to assist with some of the investigations that were happening in Limpopo. I don't think these police officers are bad police officers because they were not going to be deployed to assist the people in Limpopo if they were bad police officers. The fact that they were put to go investigate in Limpopo, clearly these officers were onto something and they were one of the best officers we have in South Africa. And since we've alluded to the safety of these people and how others are even protected right now because they are not safe due to the investigation, these people have tapped and have touched sensitive topics that are involving very powerful, influential people who are part of the Big Five that keeps on being mentioned. Outside of Katiso Molefe and Vusumuzi Maket Matlala, there's even many other people that have been revealed. I don't know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think that indeed these police officers were being targeted? And also, guys, even the ANC Youth League himself, Colin Malachi, said this about illegal mining.
No one has answered the question that these Zamazamas, where do they take the product to? Because the reason they are in demand was the market. Now, who controls the market? It's people who own mines. They're the ones who have the right to export these minerals. Now, there's no company that will sell Zamazamas overseas without the laws being followed. It means
somewhere the law is followed.
It means that this mineral that they are mining is called a market. Who are the markets? Are the ones that control the value chain where it is called. It means they sell to the same mine owners. Now what they do, they leave the mine because they're tired of paying minimum wages and all of those things. They say there's no longer minerals there, blah, blah, blah. They move on. Then they go and organize Zamazamas to come and mine for them. They do it. We don't have proof of it, obviously, but my common sense tells me that if these Zamazamas can show us where they take it to, these people here in big house in Santinotin and everywhere else are the ones that are the biggest controllers of these minerals that are sold illegally to them. But them, they make those minerals legal because they have the business for it.
So clearly, this thing of illegal mining, even the ANC, they know themselves that it is not just mere citizens who are hungry, go and dig there and start illegal mining. What are they going to do with that gold? There is big people behind. And if you are about to touch that industry, clearly you are touching the source, you are touching the kingpin, you are touching the mind behind it. And if you're touching the mind, that is the kingpin. And kingpins don't want to be found. They like it better when you just find these small rats and cockroaches down there and not arrest them. So these people, they were onto something, they knew something big. And as I've said, looking at Senzo Mchunu's response and Shadrack Sibiya's response with regards to the unaliving of these kids, you should be very worried. You should be very worried. I hope the investigations on these kids is very much active. And I think that's why maybe parliamentarians did not ask about that incident. Maybe it's because of, maybe they forgot, I don't know. But also, I want to assume, hopefully they do ask Fanny Masemola. But I want to assume that even if they asked, this matter is still investigated. And I definitely think that there's a lot that they're still going to find. I hope the political Unaliving task team is going to deal with this case, because this case definitely is politically motivated. Zamazamas, always politically motivated. So this Unaliving is definitely politically motivated. And I'm hoping that the political Unaliving task team is going to be strong and holding and continue the investigation. And they're going to get a good heads of crime intelligence since Dumisani Kumalo is facing the case. And even if Dumisani Kumalo comes back, of which I pray that he comes back, he fixes his mistakes of nepotism, comes back to office and continue what they've started as the political Unaliving task team. Because we want the truth about those 3 police officers that have lost their lives. And also, we must never ever forget that these people were firstly kidnapped before they were unalived. So they kidnapped them. What were they doing with them? Do you think when someone that is involved in sinister acts, that has been doing a lot, or that is part of the criminal syndicates, will be kidnapped for days? Clearly they knew something that they were not supposed to know. The same thing with Jerry. Jerry is kidnapped because he probably knows something. I don't think they just kidnapped him because he's part of the syndicate. If you are part of them, if you are with them, do you think that they'll just unalive you? They unalive you because they feel like you're a loudmouth. They feel like you're about to crack them. They feel like you're about to bring them down. That's why. So the fact that they were kidnapped before, that is also an important element of this whole thing to prove that these people were definitely onto these people that are kingpins. These police officers were definitely onto something. Nonetheless, guys, please comment your thoughts. I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.